have beads on, I have makeup on, and I've got a sort of a decent shirt.
Yeah.
Has anybody checked with Harry Taylor?
No, I talked to him yesterday, so.
I don't have his information. Does anyone have his phone number to call him?
I'll do it.
Kevin, let me ask you something. Who's on with the glasses? I can't recognize this. I don't recognize this new person.
I'm not new. I'm Rita Pendry, and I have to have my reading glasses. I see they're providing a little bit of a glare, and I apologize for that.
Oh, no, I just don't see you very often, so.
Hi, Rita.
Hey, I can't see
Hi,
without
Rita.
it. Let me see.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. Is that better? I could.
No, we didn't know who our Pendry is, but I just changed your name, so.
And there's Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi from Vermont.
Oh,
Hey, Beth. Kevin, let me ask you this, because in my opening, I say on screen with me are our officers, directors, and action team leaders. But that's going to be incorrect because we're going to have more people on the screen then, right?
Correct.
That's true.
So I'll scratch that.
well, aren't they on screen, but they're maybe not on screen with you. They're somewhere on screen,
Well,
right? You scroll through them. Yeah.
Well, because we did this in rehearsal and only you guys were on, that's what I thought would be happening. I didn't know whether everybody who's attending would be on screen. Is that correct, Kevin, or not?
Yes, everybody's attending will be on screen.
Okay. With their
But they were not necessarily in alphabetical order.
Okay. So everybody who's attending the meeting will have their pictures on if they so choose. And
well, yes, but that's, again, if you go to speaker view, then their picture comes to the forefront. Otherwise, you see the tiles.
If we're not needed on the screen, is there a way to get ourselves off the screen?
No, we want to see you. We won't let you do that.
No, wait, Kevin, it's almost 6:30. Do we want to talk to everybody and try to get them on the participant spot so that they know about that? Make sure they know how to do that so they can vote?
Well, Tricia, we don't even have all of our participants on board yet.
No, well,
Harry's not here.
Well, but as people are joining, we've got people who are not a part of the board. So we just may want to make sure that they know how to show their participant list so they know how to vote.
Well, we should go. I thought we were going over that. I don't know if it was you, Dolores, or you, Tricia.
No,
we start the meeting.
It was you.
Remind everybody how to vote.
Right. I thought you were going to kind of say what you did at our second meeting, our practice. I asked if you could just say that multiple times. You had said, okay, as you log on, wiggle your mouse.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, do that. Just do that a few times, or we can just wait till everybody gets on if you want. It's fine. Okay. It's close enough to time now.
Can somebody call Harry? I got his number.
Sure.
Mobile is 704-579-9480.
I'll call him.
So Kevin, we have 22 people. Maybe you ought to do it the first time now.
Okay. So welcome everybody. Let's just go over a few logistics. We are using Zoom meeting. I have enabled a couple of things. The first thing is if you take the cursor and move her over the screen of Zoom meeting, at the bottom, you'll see a taskbar that comes up. The taskbar has a couple of things that we want to pay attention to. First, on the left is the mute button. What you want to do is, if you want to mute yourself, you just click it, and there'll be a red line that goes through it. So that you're muted. If you see the red line and you want to speak, just click it again, and you'll be able to speak. When we start, I will mute everybody. So if you wish to speak, you need to unmute yourself. Second thing, video. I think everybody's got video that wants to have video. You see that next to the mute on the left. As we move across to the right, you see participants. You need to click on the participants to see everybody who is in the meeting on a border on most computers on the right-hand side. You don't have to do that, but it makes it real easy to see everybody. Oh, and also you need to do that so that we enable the ability to vote. When you do enable participants, at the bottom of the participants, you will see a green button, a red button. That's yes or no. So as we get to votes, we will ask for a vote, and Dolores will say if you are approving, vote yes. If you disapprove, vote no. There's a chat. In the middle of the bar on the bottom is a chat. Open up the chat. If you have questions, please type it at the bottom of the screen in the chat. We will not recognize questions by you, by vocal. You write the question in the chat and the president will recognize you, and then you can ask your question. I think that's it. There's a reaction button. If you feel positive, you can press clap. That'll give a signal in your screen, or a thumbs up. Doesn't mean anything. We're not monitoring that, but some people like to do that. Are there any questions for anybody? And if you have a question, remember, once we start, I will mute you, so you have to unmute yourself. No questions? All right. It is now 6:30, Dolores. Up to you when you're ready to start.
We need a quorum of what, 23, is that correct?
They need 23 to have a quorum. You want to call us?
We have 30.
Oh, they got 30.
We have 30 participants.
Hi, Beth. Beth is here. How nice.
All right, Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. Tricia is to open our meeting.
Ready to start then? So Kevin, you're going to mute everyone except me?
I just did.
Okay. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tricia Garcia. Welcome to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg League of Women Voters annual meeting, presented by myself as chair of the annual meeting committee, Kevin Woodson, our technology guru, and Dolores Johnson-Hurt. Normally, this meeting takes place in the gymnasium at the Millwood International Cultural Center with a catered dinner, drinks, decorations, and pleasant background music to complete the atmosphere. Chatter with newly made and old friends is heard, with politics as the popular topic. After dinner, a charismatic and captivating speaker challenges the audience to think about something in a new way and leaves a call to action to continue the cause. Tonight, we can see each other through our computers or hear the speaker on our phone to meet the requirements of the league bylaws. Unfortunately, everything else is indicative of our current environment. Hopefully, next year will be different. It is my pleasure to now introduce to you Dolores Johnson-Hurt, our Charlotte-Mecklenburg League President, presiding over tonight's meeting.
Thank you very much, Tricia, and thank you, everybody. Thank you, members, for attending this first ever virtual meeting of the League of Women Voters of Charlotte-Mecklenburg. As you know, this meeting is required, and your presence is necessary to approve our budget, our program, and a new slate of officers and directors. It is now 6:33 p.m. I now call the 2020 annual meeting of the League of Women Voters of Charlotte-Mecklenburg to order. Our bylaws state that a quorum of 10% of the membership must be present. Our membership numbers 219. Susan Ellsbury is our acting secretary. Suzanne, please announce the attendance.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, Suzanne.
Madam President, we currently have 35 attendees.
Thank you very much. We have more than the required quorum. As our first order of business, we will adopt the annual meeting rules, which were emailed to you this past Monday, June 1st. Only members are allowed to debate, make motions, and vote. May I now have a motion to approve the rules? Please say your name clearly so our secretary can record you.
This is Kate Stadelman. I move that we adopt the rules as proposed.
Is there a second?
And this is, yes, this is June White, who seconds the motion of the rules.
Thank you, June. All those who approve, click yes.
Oh, I should do that too. Go to participants. And
Those opposed, click no.
Madam President, we have a majority in the affirmative.
Thank you so very much. The motion passes. Now we must approve last year's annual meeting minutes. These minutes were also emailed to you on Monday. May I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
This is John Lee. I move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
This is Patty Kelly. I second.
Thank you, Patty. All those who approve, please click yes. Those opposed, click no.
Madam President, the motion passes by unanimously in the affirmative.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you very much, everybody. It is now my privilege to present the President's remarks. A little over 3 months ago, on February 29th, in Uptown Charlotte, we celebrated in grand style 100 years of the League of Women Voters. The gala was the proudest event of the year, not just because it was a great social statement, but also because it gave us, in a single event, a $30,000 cushion to continue the work of the League. 3 weeks later, however, COVID-19 hit, and life as we knew it changed. We sheltered in place and lived in fear, consuming news around the clock about the growing numbers of those infected. How much worse could it be for us, we thought. But then, within the last 10 days, we have seen demonstrators of all colors and stripes explode in empathy and rage as they protested the death of yet another Black man, George Perry Floyd, the symbol of the deaths of thousands of Black men and women at the hands of callous law enforcement officers who's killed only because of cell phones. I applauded the strong statement by our National League last Friday, which condemned Floyd's death as murder and called the people of this nation to actively advocate for anti-racist policies at every level of the government, and just as importantly, in our homes and communities. After each outpouring of grief of this nature, we call for solutions. And the singular one at which most of us arrive is to attempt to remedy systemic racism, is voting. The singular one at which most of us arrive is to attempt to remedy systemic racism by voting. Voting to put us on a trajectory. The League's pledge of defending democracy is less necessary. Informed voting is a core mission of the League, and in these times of pandemic and social upheaval, we must continue to find ways to engage citizens, particularly our young people and people of color, to vote for the changes that will improve their lives. But how do we do this when many of us are social distancing and so many are struggling with unemployment and the need for the basics of food and shelter? How do we 1,000 or more new citizens we regularly assist when there are many fewer naturalization services? How do we register voters at community colleges, at apartment buildings, at community events, and other venues? It's scary to think that COVID-19 will snuff our dream of a change in government for which many of us yearn, by hampering the ability to vote. With tens of thousands of deaths in the US, the virus is still poised to ravage this country for months to come. We must make sure voting is not obstructed and weakened. Unless we can move about more freely in the fall, it is very likely that absentee voting by mail is our ticket to success, and the League must find a way to help people do that. That means volunteering and advocating. We must lobby officials, elections officials here to see that there are enough absentee ballots available. And we must figure out how to get them into the hands of as many voters as necessary. We must make sure that there are enough polling places available so all can vote safely. We must volunteer at the polls. If we cannot work the polls or poll watch because of health concerns, we must urge younger family and friends and neighbors to do so. From our homes, we can staff voter protection hotlines and make sure Get Out the Vote phone banks reach as many voters as possible. We must let young people know that these efforts are as important as marching. Charlotte schools open August 17th. Volunteer with our voter services team to register high school students, emphasizing the importance of informed voting. We can use that help. The League's goal is to mobilize 1 million young people to vote nationwide. Do you know that here in North Carolina, in Guilford County, the schools there took seniors to vote at the polls as a display of civic duty? Could we possibly do that here? Let's think about that. Vote411.org is the League's online personalized voter guide where you can learn about what you need to vote and where candidates stand on issues. Tell everyone you know about the site. It's free, and it goes online August 15th. Our Vote 411 team is working now to make yard signs for you to publicize the site. We will let you know when the signs are available. Across the country, there have been concerted efforts to stop voters from casting their ballots or to make it much harder to do so. Legislators and election officials have purged voters from the rolls, making cuts to early voting, reduced polling places, and put in place strict voter ID requirements. North Carolina, of course, has been at the head of that line. Even now, the North Carolina League is fighting efforts to purge voters from the rolls right here in Mecklenburg County by a group called Judicial Watch. And that group has done so successfully in other places. My annual meeting address to you this evening is the 5th since I became president in June 2016. Each year, I struggle with what I should say to you because I know you are a knowledgeable group of people, and I'm basically speaking to the choir. What I can do each year is to urge your continued support of this wonderful organization in as many ways as you can. The very least you can do is join our Lunch with the League and League Talk forums, which we hope to start again in September, and stay up to date by reading our voter newsletter. Thank you very much, and stay safe. Okay. Reports from our board members and action team leaders in the order listed on the program. We'll start with the membership, and our membership co-chair is Peg Chapin.
Am I muted?
Not anymore.
Okay, thanks a lot. I'm Peg Chapin, and I'm co-chair of the membership team with Margaret Howe Soper. Presently, there are 220 members in the League of Women Voters, and we've had 60 members join since July. The roster is kept current by Margaret. Packets of League material are sent to each new member. Membership information is entered into the League of Women Voter US roster. We order the lunches for the League lunch, and we manage the food boxes, and we greet people when they come in, and we check people in. New member orientation was held at my house last fall. One was scheduled for March, but we had to cancel it due to the coronavirus. We've held coffees with new members, not since then, though, prior to the coronavirus. We have items in my garage for a garage sale. That was a fundraiser scheduled quite a while ago, but we will do that when we can meet safely. That concludes my report. I'd like to introduce Kevin Woodson for his educational report.
Thanks, Peg. I am Kevin Woodson. I'm co-chair of the education team. For a detailed account of this past year's activities, I refer you to the May issue of the Voter. Currently, we are focused on 2 of our 4 focal points for 2020 and 2021. We are currently engaged with local government officials to rectify the disparity of performance within CMS, which is commonly expressed as a lack of equity. This includes a focus on the Leandro report, which was finally released in November 2019, as well as teacher, administration, support staff training, advancement, pay, and retention. We are currently engaging both the CMS board and the County Board of Commissioners to determine the best path forward. Additionally, we're focused on school funding. Currently, North Carolina is ranked 46th in the US in cost-adjusted funding per student. So if you bear with me just for a second, I just want to show you where this is, just so you can see graphically. Blue is considered excellent. Red is considered D or F ranking. And you see where North Carolina is. This came from the Education Week Research Center. If you'd like to, you can text me later and I'll send you a copy of the whole report. Yet, because we have this inequity, we also have money sitting in programs such as opportunity scholarships that are being underutilized with no supervision. I'd like to specifically recognize John Lee and Cheryl Milam and the entire education team for its work on preparing a document regarding opportunity scholarships, as it will be presented to the State League at their annual meeting to be considered for adoption for future league platforms. That concludes my report. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Reagan A. Duttle.
Hi, thank you, Kevin. My name's Reagan A. Duttle, and I am Chair of Voter Services. And I think first and foremost, I would like to thank any of my volunteers or all of the volunteers that have worked with Voter Services, because it is truly a team effort. And we would not have been as successful as we are and hope to continue to be so without all of our volunteers. Voter Services has multiple umbrellas. Our biggest and one of our funnest is our naturalization ceremonies. And we were lucky enough to partner with the United States Custom and Immigration Services, or USCIS. And we are at every naturalization ceremony welcoming our newest citizens and allowing them a chance or giving them a chance to register to vote. Last year, we registered over 5,600 new citizens. And we sent out reminder for the primary, and we will be doing this for the general election as well. And one of the things that we send them out are go to vote411.org. It's a great way to learn how to help, how to vote. As we know, I will say this a lot, since COVID-19, USCIS has been shut down since early March. They are actually starting a soft opening. We were there today. We are not, our physical presence cannot be there, but they are very enthusiastic about making sure that people are given the opportunity to vote. So we have set up tables and packets with registration forms and requests for absentee ballot forms. We have given information about Vote 411, a bookmark, and a little sticker. So hopefully, this will work. We'll go pick up the forms, but until our physical presence can be there, we are trying to maintain a relationship and get our new citizens registered to vote. Another component of this is our voter outreach. And again, it has been very successful this year. We have partnered with the Greater Charlotte Apartment Association, the Levine Museum of the New South. We were invited to come to DSS job fairs. We've worked at breweries. That's a hard voter registration gig, to sit around on a Saturday afternoon at a brewery. We have worked with Time Out for Youth. One of our members had gotten us hooked up with Habitat for Humanity, and we were hoping to have a Habitat Day and register voters and have the league help build a house. Again, a lot of this is put in, or most of it has been put on hold. We have continued to reach out to all of our partners digitally, and we have given them information about requesting absentee ballots. We have given them Vote 411, where you could go and find out for both you and your relatives where the primaries are going to be and how they've changed due to COVID-19. And we hope to be able to have a presence soon. Until then, we are continuing to work with them. Another area that we have worked hard at is education. And as Dolores said, we work with a lot of high schools. We did many during this fall, and our most successful was Independence, where we got over, I think, 120 new and pre-registrations. We had multiple schools lined up this spring, East Meck and Queens Grant, and the list goes on. But again, that's been put on hold, but we have sent to our contacts information, because we need to get these students understanding the importance of voting and how you can vote. We were fortunate enough to build a great relationship with CPCC. And again, we were able to attend many voter registration. We did voter education. We went to every campus throughout the county and talked to clubs and classes about the importance of voting and how to register to vote. We empowered the students to form their own groups, and they can go out and register to vote. They had asked us to do a presentation on the 19th Amendment because they said, well, you know all about it. And I'm like, yeah, no, we don't. So a group of us were able to learn. There was Kate Stadelman and Carolyn Lyons and Carolyn Kelly and Sandy Cross, and I spent a lot of time reading and researching. And we learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun. And we were able to present this to a group of students at CPCC on March 3rd, which was a great day. It was the primary, and it was the 107th anniversary of Alice Paul's March. So that was a great thing. We had been invited to speak at their Sensoria event. That was canceled. So we were hoping maybe if they do that in the another time we can come. And I've also reached out to see if they have students that are interested in being poll workers. As Dolores said, we need the young to come out. So we've done a lot of working with students and the young. And we've also, I'm a firm believer that you can register, but you have to educate. You've got to get people to understand why they need to vote, how important it is. And we've been able to partner with several organizations, and one of which, the YWCA and Amplify Charlotte. We were hosting a voter engagement series, which we were really excited about, hoping to engage communities that felt disenfranchised, or maybe why do we vote? That again has been put on hold. We're hoping to maybe host that this summer or digitally. And all through all of our registrations, as Dolores said, we really tried to get people to go look at our Webby Award-winning Vote 411 so that they know and how to register to vote. If they're registered to vote, know your voter registration status, the most important first step. So we really tried to work with people in educating them. And through the way, we found a lot of great partners to work with, you know, who have different tools people can use. I've just recently met someone from an organization, Vote Riders, who works with voter ID, which although is on hold now, it's people need IDs. And this is a great organization. We've worked with it, or I'm hoping to work with more. But anyway, again, I would just like to thank everyone for all their help. And if anyone has ideas, I'm always interested. And now I'd like to introduce Tom Murdoch.
Well, thank you, Reagan. Good evening. I'm Tom Murdoch, the first VP and Director of Civics 101. I took Civics 101 myself 5 years ago, then joined the League and headed up the Civics 101 program after a year where there had been no Civics 101. The increasing interest in the program encouraged us to add a fall session to the spring session in the fall of 2018. For the last 2 years, these double sessions have been successful. Our 2020 Civics 101 team members are Tina Brown-Lee, Ashley Guzman, Teresa Kelly, Steve Nader, Heidi Purz, Margaret Howell-Soper, and June White. Their flexibility and commitment have been invaluable and much appreciated by the participants. After our March 10th session featuring the CMS Board of Education with 2 sessions remaining, we decided to postpone the program due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We told the attendees that the final 2 sessions, County Court and Media Charlotte Observer, would be rescheduled when the impact of the pandemic was clearer. Since there was still uncertainty after several weeks, we said that if possible, the sessions would be held in the fall. Because of this uncertainty with the pandemic and because we rescheduled the final spring sessions, we have canceled the Civics 101 fall session. This would have been the 3rd fall session started in 2018 due to the demand. We would ask that if you or any of your family and friends are interested in taking Civics 101 in the future, that you sign up on the waiting list on our website, goleaguego.org. These people will be the first notified of a new session. In fact, we already have 15 on that waiting list. The crisis caused by the COVID-19 virus makes the educational purpose of Civics 101 even more important. Most believe that this pandemic has revealed weaknesses in our economic and healthcare systems. This makes the understanding of government and its impact on future changes even more important. Many of these changes will be made by local government where Civics 101 is focused. Each of the 5 sessions play a key role. City government with the city council, CMS and its Board of Education, county government with the county commissioners, county courts, and the media as represented by the Charlotte Observer. When Civics 101 attendees complete the program as certified public activists, each is in a position to advocate for the changes that they support. Thank you for your interest. If anyone would like to join the Civics 101 team, please let me know. Now I would like to introduce Harry Taylor.
Harry, we can't hear you.
You're unmuted, but somehow you don't have your sound on. Or your microphone is not on. All right, Harry, move your cursor across your screen so you see the icons on the bottom. In the far left-hand corner, you'll see the microphone. If you speak and your microphone's working, it'll slide up and down green. If not, click the up arrow and pick either your microphone or your stereo mix under select the microphone. See it? All right, now it looks like his screen is frozen.
Kevin, do you suggest we move on and come back?
I'm going to do that. I'll mute him. And so if he comes back in, and then I'll talk to him offline.
Okay, thank you so much. Next up is Margaret Howe-Soper for the Environmental Committee.
Hello, I'm Margaret Howe-Soper, Chair of the Environment Team. For the past year, the mission of the Environment Team has been to continue furthering our acquaintance with environmental issues of importance in Mecklenburg County and North Carolina. To that end, we have spoken with members of local government and nonprofit organizations critical to the educating the public about environmental issues. Since last year, we have spoken with 7 individuals, including hearing about the science behind climate change, air quality in Charlotte, and the county board manager, as well as a member of the county board, to get a slant on the political input they had about the environment and what our local governments are doing toward the environment. The committee hosted the February lunch with the league, where we heard about the new comprehensive plan that's underway. It's called the 2040 Plan for Charlotte. In March, we were scheduled to host league talks to hear about proper recycling. That was canceled. However, a webinar on the same subject by the same speaker was offered on Earth Day in April. We have learned that there is a lot more to learn about environmental issues and finding the political will to improve things. This coming year, Margaret Fritz has graciously agreed to co-chair the team, and I'm delighted, Margaret. Each committee member has brought a wealth of professional or volunteer experience, motivation, and interest to the team. We have a lot to learn. Our main issue for the coming fall is going to be to have an open discussion of team members to decide how the league can be most effective in local environmental issues. Thank you. And I would like to introduce Kate Stettleman, who will speak about women's issues.
Good evening. Thank you, Margaret. My name is Kate Stadelman, and I want to tell you about the Women's Issues Action Team and invite you to join us. Women's issues, it's a very broad area, so please see the voter for more details. We have been studying the gender pay gap, and we're now planning to partner with women's organizations in Charlotte-Mecklenburg to put on an event on gender pay equity and how to get there. Stay tuned for details on that, or better yet, join us to make the event happen. We are also supporting efforts in the state and at the national level to get the Equal Rights Amendment into the US Constitution, now that 38 states have ratified it. We worked on the ERA for several months last year. Soon, we will have a social media campaign, #DadsForEquality. Please look for it and help it along with shares and retweets. Now we will hear from John Lee.
Thank you, Kate. We're going to give the treasurer's report now for this year. And it's been a positive year for the most part for the league. The confusion that we've had because of the shutdown has affected both our income and our expenses. But I'll get that in a moment. But don't forget, you can go to the voter online and see the details of this budget. But before I go on, I wanted to give special thanks to Beth Springston because she has been a critical help to me throughout this year. And she has been, even though she lives in Vermont, she continues to be a good friend and supporter of this organization. So a special thanks to her. Our income is down by about $4,000, but our expenses are down nearly $7,000. And again, that comes from the fact that we have not been in this last quarter in operation for any of our events. And so the costs have been down and the income is down. In our balances, which you can see online, the good news is that we have added to the balance sheet. We have nearly $47,000 in the bank. And the 100th anniversary gala resulted in a positive gain of $29,000, and it may change a little bit between now and the end of the year. But I think a great thanks to the committee and to the many members who contributed to the success of this evening. It was not only a success as a gala, but a success financially. And that money, the $29,000 in that account, can only be used with the approval of the board, so that if you have a special need or a special program function, the board would have to approve that before it could be spent. So that is, I think, an ending of a positive year. And I will turn it back to Madam President to continue.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you, everyone. As a reminder, full reports from all of our action teams can be found on our website, goleaguego.org. Now, Kate Stadelman, who is chair of the Budget Committee, will present her report.
Hello again. The proposed budget for 2020/2021 is in the voter and on the screen, so I hope everybody can see it. We have the 2019 budget, 2019 to 2020 budget for comparison purposes, but the one that we're looking at is in the right-hand column. I won't talk about every change. Some of them are really not great enough to be significant, but in the income section, you'll notice that we are going to increase our room usage income from $300 to $500, and we're going to do this by publicizing the fact that other nonprofit organizations can arrange with us to use our space. You'll see in program income a big drop in the Civics 101 income, as Tom Murdoch has pointed out. That's due to going from from 2 sessions to 1. And there's a transfer from reserves in our income. That's what's necessary in order to balance our income and expenses in this budget. So the income is $27,739 for this fiscal year. In the expense section, conferences and workshops are lower than they were last year as a result of both the pandemic and scheduling of such workshops. Everything else I think is a minor thing, except when we get down to Civics 101, you'll see that change again. I wanted to point out that voter services is a line on this budget and there's nothing in it. And the reason is that the voter services team is funded by grants. One of the things that Reagan does in her spare time is to apply for grants so that all of that work can continue. And there's a new item for a budget for women's issues because we want to bring focus to those. So you'll see that the expenses balance the income as it's supposed to be. If anybody has any questions on this, please feel free to email me. It's kate.stadelman, my name, kate.stadelman@gmail.com. This concludes my report. Do we have Harry Taylor yet?
No.
Hold on. He's trying to join, but it looks like he's not getting in. So I would continue on.
Okay, thank you very much. Harry's report, full report, can be found, as are the other team reports, on our Voter, and you can access that at goleaguego.org. And of course, on May 4th, every one of you received a copy of our annual. This time, I have a motion to approve the 2021 budget of the League of Women Voters of Charlotte-Mecklenburg. Again, please say your name distinctly so our secretary can record it.
This is Tricia Garcia. I move to approve the budget as stated.
This is Reagan Aduddle. I second the motion.
Thank you both. All those of you who approve, please click yes. Opposed, click no.
Madam President, as of this moment, it is unanimous in the approval of the budget.
Thank you so much. The motion passes. Lucille Howard will now present our proposed local program and recommended areas of focus for 2021.
The League's program consists of those governmental issues that the League has chosen over the years for concerted study and action at the local level. At each annual meeting, members are asked to adopt the program consisting of issues on which the League members reached a consensus. State and National League issues and studies and consensus are considered at their respective conventions, although all of their positions are also our positions. These positions must be readopted each year by League members at the annual meeting in order to remain on the program for possible action. No new studies are proposed this year. We have positions on transportation, government, education, housing, social policy, environmental, global climate change, environment and global climate change, healthcare reform, and human trafficking. The board recommends the following areas of focus for advocacy in 2021. Under voter services, education, registration, vote411.org, and end gerrymandering. Under women's issues, ERA and wage equality. local environment. And under public education, support for public education with adequate and timely funding, equitable opportunity for a sound basic education and pre-K expansion. The program proposal was approved by the board in a unanimous vote to recommend adoption by the membership, and I move that the program and areas of focus be adopted.
Dolores, you're muted.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, as I was saying, as the recommended program for 2021 has been moved by the board, we don't need a second. All who approve, please click yes. All opposed to our program for the coming year, click no.
Madam President, you have unanimously approved in the affirmative.
Thank you so much. The
I
motion.
also want to let you know that Mr. Taylor is back.
Great. Okay, just let me say that the motion passes, and welcome back, Harry.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I was unmuted. I was prepared for that earlier. You can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was all prepared, and then it got muted, and then the computer went blank and went offline. I'm Harry Taylor, the Fair Elections Team leader under the League Project Fair Districts NC, and my initiative, Flush Gerrymander. We're talking about a lot of things that the League of Women Voters does and has worked on. It was founded and grew on the belief that all citizens should have the right to pick those who represent us, in other words, vote. But for far too long, we've seen that our right to cast a ballot doesn't necessarily guarantee that our votes count. For over 2 centuries, political parties, through the gerrymandering process, have separated, boxed, and packaged our votes into preordained votes or results for their own power and not for the good of the country or its citizens. Gerrymander's got to go. Unfortunately, our North Carolina Constitution gives absolute control to the legislature, 85% of whom arrive into power courtesy of non-competitive gerrymandered districts. And who gets power matters. Here's what I hope you'll hear loud and clear. As hard as we work on voter and civil rights, education, climate change, women's rights, and gun control, we can't advance and win those issues while a systemic flaw in our government hands elections and power to bad actors to work against all that we hold dear. We can be powerful, but we have to want to be, we have to decide that we want to do that. Our challenge is to put into place before map drawing in 2021, the fair process specifically not controlled and manipulated by the legislature or political parties. Remind you that if we don't get that done by 2021, the next opportunity doesn't come around for another decade. Today, right now, there are 7 fair redistricting bills locked down in committees by the legislative leaders. Our mission is to get those bills out of committee, into discussion, and hopefully into law before map drawing in 2021. We're in the midst of a crucial letter writing campaign aimed at those specific legislative leaders, and we need your help. Please, it's quick and easy, 6 letters, 12 sentences, 6 stamps, half an hour. You know, democracy's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Please, every day, believe in your power and help us take back the people's democracy. And if you're interested in joining me on the Fair Elections team, I can use all the help you can provide. Thanks for listening. And I guess I'm not going to introduce Margaret House-Soper because she's probably already spoken while I was gone.
Okay.
Right back into the meeting.
Thanks so much, Harry. We're glad you were able to get back on board. Finally tonight, folks, we have a new slate of officers and directors, and Tom Bowers is here to introduce them to you.
Thank you, Doris. Officers, first vice president, 2020 to 22, Tom Murdoch. Second vice president, 2020 to 2021, Pam Liebman. Secretary, 2020 to 2021, Suzanne Ellsbury, to fill an unexpired term. And treasurer, 2020 to 2022, Kevin Woodson. Directors, 2020 to 22, June White. 2020 to 22, John Lee. 2020 to 22, Lucille Howard. And a one-year term, 2020 to 21, Carolyn Lyons, to fill an unexpired term. The nominating committee will be Donna Armbruster as chair, with members Patty Kelly, returning member Sylvia Ross, and continuing for the last year of their terms are our illustrious president, Dolores Johnson Hurt, for one remaining year, directors Kate Stadelman and Reagan Adel for 2 years. No, that'll be 1 year. Submitted by the nominating committee, Tom Bowers, Rita and Pendry, Sylvia Ross, and Kevin Woodson. I return control of the meeting to our dedicated president, Dolores Johnson Hurt.
Thank you so much, Tom. Is there now a motion to approve the slate presented by Tom?
This is Margaret House Soper. I move that the slate be accepted as presented.
May I have a second?
This is Kate Stadelman. I second the motion.
All of those who approve, please click yes. Any opposed, click no.
Madam President, at this moment, we have unanimous in the approval.
All right, thank you for your votes, everybody. And let's welcome our new board members by applauding them. You can applaud online. Now comes a most important part of our meeting, and that's when members give directions to the new board. This direction or directions given to the local board on suggested programs, activities, or direction you would want us to pass on to the state or to national. Since this is a virtual meeting, I would ask that you email me, doloreshurt@yahoo.com, with your comments and suggestions, and I will pass them on. At this time, and we're near the end of our program, and this has been moving very quickly, I'd like to follow up with acknowledgements. Fortunately for us, only one member of our board is moving entirely away from an elected position. That person is Tricia Garcia. Tricia served on the board for only a year, but she was very valuable to the board, often serving as devil's advocate to help us more closely examine issues. Tricia, of course, headed our annual meeting committee and selected our keynote speaker. All of her plans, however, were aborted because of the pandemic. Thank you so much, Tricia, for your service. And now, let's congratulate our member who this year marks 50 years as a League of Women voter. Lucille Howard joined the League in 1970 in Blacksburg, Virginia. She was a member for 2 years in Northfield, Minnesota, before joining the Charlotte League. She has held several positions on the board and served as our co-president from 2003 to 2007. As a state board member, She updated the State League's government handbook in 1976 and expanded it significantly for its 1990 publication, which was used in middle schools across the state. Culminating a league study of North Carolina taxes, she authored a study of North Carolina taxes and their impact on taxpayers. That information provided a basis for league advocacy for a revenue system that is fair, progressive, efficient, and compliant. Since 2015, she's been editor of the Voter newsletter and has done a magnificent job with the Voter. Lucille, 50 years a league member is a tremendous achievement for you. You have been a leader and a backbone of the Charlotte League, and we thank you so much for your service. May we have a few words from you, Lucille?
That's very nice, Dolores. Thank you very much. As several have mentioned, I too am so grateful we were able to have our fantastic 100th celebration before the quarantine started. We really chose a fortunate date for that. League has been a big part of my life all these years, and I really value the very good friends that I have made. We've had many adventures together, from scouring the city for soup when we were hosting Russian women in the summertime, river cruising, doing cake critiques at Nantucket Restaurant on our way to Raleigh, along with a lot of worthwhile projects too. We like to promote League as giving folks an opportunity to learn new skills, and it's true. You cannot imagine how many things I have learned about computer programs as a result of League work. It is so rewarding to see the commitment women have to voting rights and preserving democracy, and help to make our community, our state and nation a better place with sensible and fair laws that we Leaguers have studied and worked on and advocate for. Just to name a few, I've been involved in the Clean Air Act, district representation on our local governmental bodies, equity in education funding, and of course a fair and progressive tax system, which we didn't get to yet, but we're still working on it. It's been extremely educational for me, and I think valuable to our community. If you're in the situation I am, you are probably very frustrated at not being able to work on voter registration and get out the vote efforts at these protests. But I'm looking forward to the time when we can get together as a league and resume our physical presence in the public arena to continue our league work. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Lucille. You are much appreciated, and we look forward to your next 2 years serving on the board.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for attending this meeting. I can't believe
Dolores, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Beth Springston had said that she wanted to say a few things about Vote 411. Can we squeeze her in?
Sure, absolutely.
Great, I'm unmuted, thank you. But I first want to say a huge thank you to Lucille. I never would have made it through 4 years as co-president without her by my side. And she is truly, truly a stellar leaguer. So thanks, Lucille. Even though I'm in Vermont, I really haven't left North Carolina because I'm still the state technical person on Vote 411. And Cheryl Bruins is handling Mecklenburg, and she's also covering Lincoln County for you too. Statewide, the various leagues are covering 30 counties, and that's 65, maybe 67% of the state population, which is very good coverage. I want to say that we have 4 counties that aren't covered, and they just happen to ring Mecklenburg: Cabarrus, Ardell, Gaston, and Union. So I'm making a plea, if there's anyone out there that doesn't have much to do, I would love 1 or 2 people to handle each of these counties. I know Cheryl is not going to raise her hand because she's got plenty to do just covering Mecklenburg and Lincoln. But it's something you can do from home. It just takes persistence and nagging to get their contacts and get them to answer questionnaires. And the final thing is that Vote 411 only works if we publicize it. And we've seen from past years, the more creative ways we get the name out there, the better we are. Regan's doing a terrific job through the voter services work that she does, but there's still a huge population that isn't reached by it. Social media only goes just so far. We know that if you have lots of money, which we don't, radio advertising is really effective. Yard signs are a great start. But I'm hoping that Mecklenburg can get together a good group of creative people that can think of ways to get the word out. We plan to have Vote 411 up statewide August 15th, almost 2 months before the election, before absentee ballots go out, so that it will be there for everyone to look at if they just know about it. And we have a statewide group formed that periodically has online conferences to talk about what we're doing. So anyone who's interested in this type of PR work, we can just add you to the group, and we feed off ideas from the other leagues. So it's 2020. It's a really important year to get the word out about this site and get our usage up. So thank you, spread the word.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Beth. I must say that we do have our vote411.org action team consisting of Kate Stadelman, Reagan Adel, and myself. And we are welcoming anybody else to join with us to 411.org. We will be meeting, our team will be meeting next week. So if you want to join us, just email me at doloresford@yahoo.com, and we welcome your participation. Okay, as I was saying, thank you everybody for attending this meeting. We do hope next year this time we can meet in person. I'd like to thank the wonderful board for its work throughout the year, to all our action team leaders. They make the league move forward and look good. And I'd like to also thank our annual meeting committee, consisting of Tricia Garcia, Kevin Woodson. This virtual meeting would not be possible. I'm sure it would have been much more difficult had he not been our director. At this time, may I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second, June White.
Thank you so much. This was our first time doing, I'm sorry, the motion passes. Thank you very much. This is the first time we've done this. I'm sure as we do more of these, and we may have virtual meetings for our Lunch with the League and League Talk starting in September, and I'm sure we'll be a little smoother and we hope to have speakers as well. So thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for those of you who have joined us. See you next year for the annual meeting, and stay very, very safe. Good night.